So we'll begin with the opening mantra. Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsachanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. All right. Slowly open your eyes, and I think we had completed up till here. So, karma versus karma yoga, and I shared some ideas on how we can turn our action into yoga. Otherwise, we will just keep doing karma, 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 lots of action, and no yoga is happening. So, commonly it's accepted that common belief and understanding of karma yoga, or okay, Krishna has said this in Bhagavad Gita. Jaake samaj seva karo. Social service is, and it becomes karma yoga. Yes, it's a punya karma, and some things will be repeated, but it's okay. It helps reinforcing. Some people are new in our group. It's good to reinforce the same ideas again and again so that it gets settled. So it is definitely a good deed. You should continue with the good deed. We don't have to stop it. But there is one thing that Sadhguru has mentioned in his karma book. He says, even if you do a good deed compulsively and not consciously, it will not even be karma yoga. It will remain as karma. So that's very important. One thing is that yes, punya karma to hoga, but it is not karma yoga if it is not done consciously. One thing is nishkam karma. We spoke of it. Don't have expectations with results. Just do it for the joy of it, just for the fun of it. And when people get immersed in an activity, see, we all do certain activities in which we have an immersion where suddenly you forget that you are. Like, sometimes when I'm painting, I forget it. Like, my whatever, if my leg is hurting for some time, I just forget it. And then suddenly I'm out of my work and I realize, oh my God, I should have moved my position. Now I'm stuck. It happens with all of us. No, sometimes even at your desk, if you're working in office, certain projects can be so immersive and they can draw every sense of you into that project. And it is so immersive that you forget yourself. Has it happened with everybody? These moments have happened. These are moments of karma yoga where the I suddenly disappears and only the action and the object remains. It's like only the process and the object remains, and you disappear. So those actions have a yogic element to it. Now Sadhguru says immersive activity is very beautiful for you to give you a taste of karma yoga, is to give you a taste of yoga. But the point is that none of this immersive activity is going to hold us for a lifetime. So he says, for that, you do need to do certain sadhana and to do certain practices to be able to maintain that. Second thing with karma yoga, and a lot of people have this idea, duty, I will do my duty. So duty is a very, it's an ugly word. Imagine if the mother started saying that I will do my duty of feeding the child. Really? No mother does a duty of feeding the child. The mother will go after the child, will do this with absolute love and concern for the child, not as a duty. The day the mother starts thinking like this, I think everything is gone. That is, so we don't do this as duty, we do this as our joy because it fulfills us. The mother, even if she does not eat, she will make sure that the child is fed, that the best food is kept for the child, even if she has to eat old food. This is how the mother is, and this is where she gets her fulfillment. So it is not an act of duty. It is not about responsibilities that are burdening us. Oh, I have to do this, I have to do that. Or let me be just done with my duty and I have done my job. No, that is not karma yoga, because then there is no joy in it. There is no fulfillment in the moment. So it's true that, all of us walking the path of yoga, it is towards anand, it is towards bliss. But Sadhguru also says the process is also the goal. The goal is not something which is far away. In the process, the goal exists. In the process, the goal can be realized. So in moment to moment, and do this as an activity that, through this week, whenever you are engaging in action, see how you can draw fulfillment in that action. Like sometimes, sometimes when I'm working in the kitchen and I find it very boring or whatever, I start arranging everything properly. Then I will keep my, and then suddenly, it just makes me feel nice. It is suddenly not like a chore that I'm trying to just get done with it. I have so many other things to do. So see, and this is like for each one of us to figure out how can you draw more fulfillment out of that activity. Like Osho bolte hain, खाने में से भी जो रस निकाल ले, तुम जो भी एक्शन मिले उसमें से रस निकाल लो. एक अगर तुमने उसमें से जूस निकाल लिया, then you are fulfilled. In that moment itself, you are fulfilled. It is not, fulfillment is not sitting somewhere far away. It can happen right here and now. If you're joyfully engaged in an activity, if you can make it fun, it's like we all have certain activities which are fun, and some are like chores and they are burdensome, and some we just want to, be done with quickly. And it is not in the action itself. If you look at the action per se, it's not much, it's very easy. You go in the ashram and you do the same action of cooking and chopping. It's so much easier. It feels light, it doesn't feel burdensome. You have to do it at home, sometimes it feels too much of a chore, it may feel burdensome. There you do joyfully. So what shifts? So bringing this awareness within yourself and seeing, figuring out within yourself, what can I do right now to draw a little bit more juice from this activity? Can I readjust my thinking, or can I readjust my process of action so that there is fulfillment in this moment? And so one of the things is, if you can do it as an offering, that if someday you are like, uh, whatever activity you're doing, you just decide that this particular activity for today, this is my offering to Krishna. So treat it as an offering, just play around with it and see how you can shift it. So, um, so then it will give you a taste of freedom. Immersive activity gives us all a taste of freedom. So that liberation is not sitting somewhere far away. When one day we will go into samadhi. Samadhi can be experienced in these moments also. Coming into a state of, lightness. Make activity light and fun and joyful, and apply your mind as to how we can do it. So Karma Yoga is giving us different lenses, and that list that we are preparing on how to turn your karma into karma yoga is actually a set of lenses. So figure out in which moment which lens will work best for me to make this activity into yoga. Make it light, make it fulfilling, make it joyful and fun. So that's a little bit of on karma yoga. I am trying to integrate Sadhguru's guidance on karma and karma yoga into this chapter, because I found it very, very useful. It completely and totally ties in with what Krishna is saying. So we will look at that also. 3.7. Oh Arjun, the individual who is able to master his senses. Sorry, I just need to move my. Okay. O Arjun, the individual who is able to master his senses through his mind is unattached. He acts according to his senses, yet he behaves according to Karma Yoga. He is said to be the best of all men. Now, uh, who is able to master his senses through his mind? Now, this is important. So, he is considered to be the best of men. So, the best of men, why has it gone into pinning me? Okay. Now it's gone into pinning here. Okay. So the best of men are those who do not destroy and fight their senses. See, uh, uh, but instead, what they do is they try to transform their mind. They transform their mind in such a way that senses work, that senses begin to cooperate with them. Okay. See, for example, if you have decided to fast, now one way, if your mind is, if your will, if the strength of will does not exist, you will keep thinking about food, you'll keep imagining about food, you'll keep your mind will keep going on food, food, food. Oh, I'm hungry. When is it time to eat? I'll give you my own example. So when I got married, I have never fasted in my life. Never. Till the day I got married. Okay. When Karwa Chauth happened, my mother always used to do Karwa Chauth. I have never fasted. So I was like, what is this thing? Huh? Whole day not to eat, not to drink water. I mean, I had heard that my mother used to drink water, like that was allowed. And I was like, no, no, I don't want to get into this. Then I don't know what happened to me. I said, why not? Let's try this. You can have something before sunrise and then till moonrise, you don't. So I said, okay, I'm not going to eat and I'm not going to drink water. I just made a decision within myself that, okay, there is no food for today and there's no water for today after sunrise. And that was a decision I made. First time in my life I fasted, never fasted before. But the decision was strong, the decision was total. And maybe around 11 o'clock something, I noticed for the first time that there was a thirst that was rising. And I noticed that, my throat was feeling a little bit parched. And I was like, okay, this will have to wait. I just told myself, all right, this is going to wait till evening. I just told, just within myself, there was a talk. And it happened. It happened, it went fine. It was not like I was falling, dying, fainting. No, I was totally okay. I was at work. I was doing everything. There was no problem. So it wasn't as bad as I had imagined. I thought, oh God, how do people sustain these kind of things? Because, I had never done that before. It's been 25 years. I have done it each year. And it happens, but it happens from a place of a decision. There is, so it's not like willpower which is trying to say, so it's not like the whole day I'm thinking about a food and saying I'm not going to eat, I'm pushing food away, this has to wait, I'm not looking at food. And through the day I was cooking, I cooked also, I cooked for my husband or whatever had to be done. So many times I have to cook for my children still, so I'll do that. But the urge doesn't rise then. So it's not like my body and urges are going, oh, let's pick this food, oh, let's eat this. The urge did not come, the urge did not happen. And my understanding, and that was like an experiential understanding for me that day, that there is, if you make a decision, senses cooperate. They know that you know that there is a master in this system who is saying, just wait, put this on a pause. And the senses listen. Once you give a proper, it's like children, if you give them my husband always used to say, he would say, you just give them proper directions, they will follow. You confuse them. First you say this, then you will say something else, or you will make these, extreme threats to them, and then they will not listen because they know you're not never going to follow those threats. The senses are like this. If we are giving this talk to our senses, things that are, you're never going to do, then the senses want to play. So your mind and mastery is not there. So Osho gives this example for Burton Russell's autobiography. So Burton Russell says that when I was teaching at Oxford, I noticed that whenever the vice chancellor would come in the corridor, the classroom, everybody fell silent. So he said then, uh, the class that I was teaching was a very rowdy class. And I would go and tell them that the vice chancellor is coming. But they all continued to make noise because they knew he was not really coming. So this is like the threat, that I was doing to my children, or the threat that we do to our senses, that they know that this is deceptive, this is not true, that the master is not really there. But when the vice chancellor is really there, the senses just quieten down. The children just quieten down. So you have to be present. And you are an entity, you are a certain force. When you are present, the senses will cooperate. All of us have experienced this. So people who say, I don't have willpower, that is not true. We all have willpower. We all have gone through 10th board exams to 12th board exams. We have sat down and studied because a course had to be finished. So there was a will. It's not like you were not tired. It's not like you didn't want to go and watch that movie or hang out with family. It's not that these desires did not exist, but the senses cooperated because there was something within us which said, right now, I have to complete this. And that's it. Isn't it? We have all had that experience. So understand what willpower means. Willpower does not mean fighting. Willpower does not mean suppression of senses. Willpower means becoming so present that the senses understand and begin to cooperate with you. then you are a master. When you get cooperation of the senses, then you are a master. Senses by themselves, little senses, they are weak. What conquering are you going to do by, conquering that which is weak? They are just little senses. There is no conquering, there's no subjugation. In fact, you will make your senses weak. So if you say, I'm not going to eat, let me see, how my body asks for food. I'm not going to eat for 30 days. Big deal. That sense, poor sense, after some time, the body is like this. It is very cooperative. After some time, body will not ask for food. What did you gain out of it? What kind of subjugation, what kind of mastery is this? This is the kind of mastery that will not be, there is no point in this kind of mastery. You are, in fact, a yogi's senses are very sensitive and very powerful. So the point is to get the cooperation of the senses and make the senses powerful. Very important. You know, yogis can, their sense of smell, I'll tell you, uh, uh, there is this a friend of mine at whose yoga center I had done a yoga retreat. Subba. Some of you, Sagita knows Subba, right? So Subba has this resort in Bali, uh, being Sattva, and I had done a retreat at his place, and he's also been into these practices and very deeply involved. Every year, he takes like a few days of silence. He just goes in the resort. He will not talk to anybody. He's very particular about his food. He and his wife both. In fact, if you look at them, they look like 20 years younger than what they are. Both of them. They're amazing. So I had taken vibhuti from the ashram when I went for this retreat, and it was on the table and the altar that I had set up for the class. And after some time in the evening, Subha comes. I offered that vibhuti to Subha. So he goes, I could smell it, Swati. And I was like, are you serious? He said, yeah, I could smell it. I mean, this is like an open area, okay? So I could smell vibhuti, but this is how yogis are. Their senses become very strong and they are very sensitive. So these things happen to people. So when we say that your senses are under control, what it means is that your mind has been transformed to such an extent and has such a capacity that you can engage the cooperation of your senses. They are not weak. They begin to cooperate with you because you as a master, you as a presence, as a force is very strong. I'll give you one more example which I have played around and experimented with. So, sometimes when my mind may go into a desire or into a thought and that's running too much, and this is all from Yoga Sutras, you know, I I began to notice this that this mind wants to run now, this desire is happening, this is happening, and I began to sit and give this talk to myself that okay, mind, you want to run, go run. I'm sitting here. Within a matter of a minute or so, those thoughts would leave me, those urges or whatever would leave me. I just said, you want to run, you run, I'm not going with you. It was like a thing within myself. I did that, and that was it. It just settled down. I was there, I was in the moment, nothing bothered me. Those urges or those desires or whatever it was running, it just left. So make your presence very strong, and that is the will force that we are talking about. So uh, best of men do not fight with their senses. Instead, they transform the mind and they master their senses. Now, and don't create this fight and conflict, okay? The eye which sees the food, the same eye will say, oh, I want the food. The same eye will say, I don't want the food. So don't get into those kind of conflicts. Swami Sarvapriyananda has mentioned that. So, I mean, that is what that is where conflicts will begin to happen. So he says something very nice that we are all very vyakul about the world. There is a longing, an anxiety plus a longing sort of a situation. You understand vyakul. I think everybody understands Hindi here, so it's all right. So you're vyakul about the world, but you're not vyakul about God. You're just vyakul about worldly affairs. But if you become vyakul about God, then automatically, the mind will get transformed. So, um, all right. So that's it on this one. Senses desire. Yeah, when awareness comes. So this is something for observation. Many times we will, you know, notice our desires only once they have already reached the senses and, you have indulged. So just start noticing. I think we've spoken about this enough. Just when the urge begins to happen, start noticing that time. Otherwise, if it goes up to a certain point, then it's difficult to call it back. So start noticing. So awareness practice is very important to be able to guide the senses in a, uh, in a very skillful way, rather than letting them run the show and go amok. Then it becomes difficult. Okay. So that was a point that was made. Now the state of mind. I have a little issue with this. Okay. The state of mind, moving positively, vitark, doing. So, how do we increase this willpower or this presence or this force within us? So, Osho suggests, he says the important thing is always be in affirmative uh, talk with the mind. So, it's like tell yourself, make up your mind. Don't be in two minds. Make up your mind. I'll tell you, when I went for that Yogeshwar Linga consecration, I was there with Sadhguru, and we were all sitting there. This was the final day. After 2 days of some intense preparation, which I did not even understand 0.01% of, he made us do all kinds of processes. Kuch samajh mein nahi aaya. It was too esoteric for me. But I did whatever he said, I did because he said, you are participating in this consecration for me. Then day three comes dressed in this beautiful blue silk dhoti. He looked like God himself. He looked like Shiva himself. And he tells us to do something. And then he is like how, if you know how Sadhguru is, like how hypnotic he is, he will say, I want you to make up your mind. I want you to make up your mind that whatever is in my experience is in your experience. Make up your mind. And this is the key to everything. Make up your mind. You want this or you want that. And once you have made up your mind, that presence and that force within you becomes very strong. Otherwise, desires can have their own grip. So, so is say if you're hungry and you can tell the body, I know you're hungry, but uh, I'm not willing to eat right now. I know you're hungry. I'm not willing to eat right now. That is something which I explored and I played around with during the first fasts that I kept in my life. So, and you know what will happen with these practices? One thing which he points out, which was very beautiful. He said, for the first time, you will realize that you are slightly different from the body. Because who is it that is giving the command? It is not the body, no. It is someone else. It is a presence within you that is giving this command to the body that I'm not willing to eat. The body is hungry, I'm not willing to eat. So, who is this I? For the first time, you will start seeing there is a separation between who you are and what the body is. And this gap is very important. This separation, this understanding is very important. So, um, so Osho says to live without any willpower is to live in degradation. And to attain willpower is to become your true self. So, there is an experiment he suggests. Not he shares from Gurdjieff's experiments. So he says in our times, if you have to look at the a practitioner of Sankhya, then Jiddu Krishnamurti is somebody who you can call as someone who belongs to the Sankhya sort of tradition. If you want to look at the highest on yoga, then it is Gurdjieff. And Gurdjieff was a Russian mystic, and Osho speaks a lot about him. And he says Gurdjieff created this experiment. It was an experiment that was used to command the system. So, you know, out of the blue during the day, do this for a few times. I have played around with this. This is an experiment. Do this. You're walking, suddenly give yourself a command, stop. Now, wherever I am, whatever I'm doing, if my hands are like this, my hands are like this. If my eyes are like this, my eyes are like this. If I'm twisted, I'm twisted. I don't move. For a few seconds, don't move because it's stop. Nothing should move. So, in that moment of stop, There is someone within who is giving a command to who? The body. And the body is also outside, isn't it? If this is not in our experience, we think I am the body, but actually I am not the body. Spiritual literature is telling us you're not the body. That means there is something which is different from the body. So who is that thing? What is that thing? This is that thing which is giving that command to the body and saying, stop. So do this a few times during the day. Just and he says, over a period of time, you will start seeing this distinction that what is you and what is the body are two separate things. It will give you a flavor of that. If you're too stuck to the body, this stop experiment. And I think and he goes as far as to say that in that moment when you suddenly give the command stop, mind goes and it becomes like a no mind because there's nothing on the mind. The mind itself stops. He said, for some people, it can even be like a portal, like a way to dive and come into a moment of enlightenment. It can happen for people in that moment. So, when children came to my classes, teenagers, I mean, I'm speaking about 16, 15 years old, I did this stop experiment with them. I would tell them, play around with this because that's a way without their knowing awareness will begin to rise within them. So, this is, yes, so I wanted to speak on this. And so, first, willpower, then surrender. So, once you have this willpower, this force within you, and you have recognized this force within you, only then surrender happens. So, surrender is not a negative state. Surrender is not like, you know, one people can also surrender because they are lazy. They don't want to do anything. God, you only do. What is there for me to do? In any case, everyone and all spiritual literature tells me everything is in the hand of God. What is there for me to do? Out of laziness, you can surrender, isn't it? That kind of surrender is no surrender. That is not the surrender. That is not that is not an offering. Then what are you offering? You're like a flower. You're like still in seed state. You have not blossomed. What is there to offer? So Ramakrishna, you know who Ramakrishna is. He's Vivekananda's guru. He would say, he has mentioned somewhere that, yeah, I offer flowers to my Devi. Someday I want to offer myself to the Devi. कि मैं अपने आप को ही चढ़ा दूं देवी. I should become so blossomed. I should become like that blossomed flower कि अपने आप को चढ़ाने की क्षमता हो. You can offer yourself at the altar of the divine. That is how you should become. So if you have to become like that, you need some will. You need some will force to be able to uh, turn that seed into a blossom. So make up your mind first, gain the cooperation of the senses, and then drop the mind. This is how surrender works. So today, most of us, we do. Otherwise, what will you surrender? You don't even have a mind. You don't even have will. What are you surrendering? So if see, what we can surrender is that presence within us. What are you going to surrender otherwise? Your body? Merely surrendering the body is not anything. We want to surrender the self, that which is within us. So uh, otherwise, we're simply surrendering our body and our senses. So so if we have to surrender ourselves, we have to find ourselves. And that can happen only if we search within ourselves. And if we search within ourselves, often we are only finding desires and expectations and thoughts. That's not what we're talking about. So first we need a mind. And then once you have built that willpower, once you have acted out of a place of will force, you become capable of surrendering. So uh, I want to speak a little bit about what surrender means. See, surrender is not the state of a weak person. A weak person is incapable of surrendering. Surrender means that no matter what happens to me, no matter what, no matter what tribulation I go through, no matter how unfortunate my circumstances are, I am incapable of complaining and I treat everything as the prasad given to me by the divine. Do we have this capacity? If things become very unfortunate, tomorrow you lose your house, you have no money, you are on the street, uh, can you still accept this as prasad? Can you still say that, uh, this is just a blessing? Divine always, I know my God loves me, and if He wants me to be here, there must be a reason for it. This may look difficult, but this is just a blessing in disguise. How many of us have the power and the strength to say this? Surrender is this. Surrender means 100% acceptance of whatever is happening in your life. That is surrender. Surrender does not mean I'm tired. What else can I do? You do. No, that is not surrender. Surrender means whatever is happening in my life, I will do. You have given me this life. You have given me hands, feet, a brain. I must function. I must function as your instrument in this world. So I will continue to function as an instrument in this world. I will apply my effort. And whatever happens to me, whatever results, good, bad, जो भी है, I will only see this as your blessing for me. How many of us have that power? So it is not about bowing down to God, because you will bow down to God and you will raise your head again. It is about taking and cutting your head and putting at the feet of God. Can you do this? Tomorrow your child dies and you say, you just still continue and say, you can still go and join hands in front of God. See, understand, we spoke about this in last class. When that person dies, that person is it's nothing is happening to him. Everything is about your attachment to this person. You are suffering your own ego and your own attachment. Mera kya hoga? Usko kya hua? My anxiety, because my ego has shrunk. That person's existence made me a mother, made me a friend, made me a spouse. That person is no more there. Now my ego has shrunk. I am less. And this is what is creating anxiety. This is what is creating misery within us. I don't have him anymore. Can we still, जो भी हुआ, of course, दुख होता है, but can you still be like this in front of God? This is surrender. Osho gives the example of Jesus. He says Jesus was born to Mary. When he was being crucified, when nails were being dug into him, at one point he says, why me? Why are you doing this to me, God? This came out of him spontaneously. And the moment it came out, he became aware. How can this come? And he said, forgive them, God, for they know not what they do. In that moment, when he was going through such intense suffering, he said, for those people who were the cause of his suffering, forgive them, they don't know what they do. In that moment, Jesus turned from Jesus to Christ. He became Christ in that moment. So we said this in one of our chats. I had shared this, that once you are a seeker, once you are a committed, dedicated spiritual seeker, you have lost your right to complain. You cannot complain. You have lost your right. If you are a committed seeker, if you are a dedicated seeker, you cannot complain. This is what surrender means. Please understand, surrender has become such a hackneyed word. It has been cheapened by usage. It is really cheapened. People think, I mean, it's it's just an offering. You just become an offering. That whatever I am, whatever is happening to me, everything is being guided by you. And even if it hurts me, it does not mean that you're not going to cry. You can cry because senses are like this. They will cry. Let them cry. But, you know, he looks after me. He is there. He has a plan. And in his plan, I trust. That is that level of trust is needed in the divine. If it keeps breaking like this, that is not surrender. So, but to be able to come into this state, can you imagine the amount of inner strength a human being needs? Most people's mind will break. You have to first have a very strong mind, a mind which is decisive, which is total in its connection with the divine. Otherwise, little bit of misfortune and the mind just breaks. That means yourself is not there. Where is your will? That's why they say collect your will first. First, have something to offer to the divine. Otherwise, you can't offer. Okay, does that make sense? Yeah? All right. Okay. Now, how to change karma into karma yoga? I think I picked up something from. So, see, this is, I have, we spoke of this in our group chat, but some things from Manoj and Sadhguru, I wanted to bring it in. So there are we spoke of yoga chitta vritti nirodha. There are mental fluctuations. There is vritti in the space of consciousness. What is this? This is simply a chemical reaction. That chemical reaction is creating a physical sensation in us, correct? It is creating a physical, where the physical sensation is of pleasure. I feel pleasure rising in me. I feel pain rising in me. I feel uh, constricted. My breath begins to feel constricted when I'm angry, right? So a certain chemical reaction happens because of an input, a sensory input. We spoke about sensory input. We spoke about the sensory body and the Vedana. Now, this is very beautiful. I like how Manoj had explained this when I did chapter 3 with him. So, we speak of three parts uh, in the mind space, so to say. We speak of Manas, Buddhi, and Ahamkar. We spoke of this in Yoga Sutra. There is something in you which is called Manas. What is Manas? Manas is the place of likes and dislikes. This is what Manas is. Largely, this is its collection. This is my mind. I like this, I don't like this. Then there is buddhi, which is intellect. What is the power of intellect? To discern this, that. Intellect is like a knife which discerns the ability to logically see what is good, what is bad, what is right, what is wrong. Uh, this is the power of intellect. And then there is ahamkar, which is I. Now, the I is identity, correct? I explained in the last class, ego is just a glue. Now, if this glue is stronger with the manas, which Manoj called as the manas ahamkar, then you are in a sticky space. You are in a space where will be very poor, will be very weak, because now you are driven by the likes and dislikes. Because ego is identified, the glue is more with the manas. Instead, if you can have your I identified with buddhi, with intellect, in this moment, what should I be doing? Like Manoj used to tell us, one of the practices in Swadhyaya, he would tell us, is that in this moment, you ask yourself throughout the day. These are really practices that we need to do. Ask yourself, in this moment, what is the best thing for me to be doing? I may be sitting here surfing. Okay, what is the best thing for me to be doing right now, which is good for me and for those around me? Okay, it could be some other action. It could be like maybe I have to do some research for my children or whatever. So ask yourself from time to time, what is the best action for me in this moment, which is good for me and for those around me? That's dharma. Everything has to be guided by dharma, that which brings good, greater good. Correct? It is for the benefit of larger number of people, not just me. If I'm just sitting here and scrolling and just enjoying, then it is just me, and that may also not be helpful to me. So I'm neither helping myself nor am I helping anybody else, so my action is useless there. So use buddhi then. So once buddhi is active, it helps with the power of the will. It will help to bring a certain cohesion to your will, not running in several different directions. You become cohesive. So apply buddhi, stay with buddhi ahamkar, Manoj used to say. So become buddhi yukta. So I am what I like. This is manas ahamkar. No, I'm like this only. I like to be like this only. But is this good for you? Is this the right way? You have gained knowledge. Let's say knowledge right now. I'm speaking in terms of vritti knowledge, just uh, vritti gyan, which is like just information based knowledge. Based on information, now you know certain foods are not good for you, or sitting like this and slouching is not good for you. You have gained this information. This is knowledge for you now. Now I'm like this only. I don't like sitting like this. When my daughter was young, she was always like this. She still is. We've gone crazy trying to just fix her hunchback, and so much so that I had to show her, what happens to the spine, scare her, do all kinds of things. After a few minutes, he was back like this. So you know now with knowledge that this is not the way to sit. So just adjusting your posture. Manoj used to tell us that this is also part of your swadhyaya. How am I sitting? The body is the first aspect. How am I sitting? If you sit properly, even Sadhguru says, no, energy flows well. So that itself, become. So not saying, I not being identified with your desires and likes and dislike, I'm like this only, tab to kuch nahi ho sakta. This is my way, but this is my way, but I'm open to hearing your way. So that is buddhi ahamkar, not closed, open, open to knowledge, open to information, then applying that information in your life so that you can direct your senses appropriately. This will strengthen will. Intellect is very important in strengthening will. Information and knowledge helps to strengthen will and helps us move in wholesome directions. So through buddhi, karma can also turn into karma yoga. And there's, he used to say, keep it like an offering, that God has given you all these karmendriya, jnanendriya, put it towards work for him. Do it as his service. We'll elaborate on this in the next few slides. So transforming habit into choice, compulsion into consciousness. So whenever you do, a Sadguru says that if you do an action consciously, then it is not karma, it is karma yoga. It will not have a binding impact on you. If you do any action consciously, it will take you towards freedom, it will not take you towards bondage. So this sadhana I had shared on our group chat. He says stay away from something for a certain period of time. God, I can't read this because it's covering. I'm not able to move the tool. Okay. So stay away for a length of time from that which you like, long for, love, or consider most precious. Like he says, even food, when you're very hungry, food is served. He says, just wait. 5 seconds, 10 seconds, just wait. So we are all supposed to do that Om Sahana Bhavtu, and they go so slowly in the ashram. I'm telling you, the truth is when I sit on my food, sometimes I just do Annadata Sukhi Bhava. I was like, I don't have so much time, Sadhguru. इतना लंबा उनका chant चलता है. So it's like, when you're in the ashram, you follow all that. But notice this, stay away from that, which is a source of pleasure for you. Just start building in. I'm going to wait for 10 seconds and then I'll have it. This is a sadhana itself. It will start breaking bondage. Just whatever gives you pleasure. This message, reading this message from my friend is going to give me pleasure. 10 counts I will do, then I will read this. This itself is a practice. It will start thinning the glue. Okay, moving on. I'm God. Sorry, I'm struggling with a toolbar on my screen. Okay, fine. All right. Therefore, you should perform actions according to your true nature, that is to say, according to the scriptures. Action is better than inaction. You cannot avoid performing actions. Otherwise, you will not even be able to maintain your body. So every moment of your life, you perform action physically, mentally, emotionally, and energy wise. Each action creates a certain memory. We've spoken a lot about that memory and how memory is contributing to our karma. Now, you should perform actions according to your true nature, that is to say, according to the scriptures. So here, scriptures actually refers to true nature. People who have realized their true nature, that is what scriptures refers to. It is not referring to a particular book. Anyone who has come into realization of his true nature. One second, sorry. I have a little.
Shwati, I think you also turned off your video by mistake.
Okay, okay,
Okay.
I'll open it. I'll open that. Yeah. Sorry. Just give me a moment. I'm trying to. I have. All right. Yeah, put this down. So, I said this in our group chat. I'm repeating this. The source of your misery is not your past actions. The source of your misery is how you are processing the past imprint now. So the important thing is, how do you respond to situations now? That will create karma. Okay. So if you do this consciously, then it will take you towards freedom. Now, uh, you should thus perform your prescribed Vedic duties, since action is superior to inaction. So this is from, so Vedic duties is how Swami Mukundananda has translated this shloka. So even your bodily maintenance will not be possible. So see, whatever activities, even sleeping, brushing your teeth, bathing, these are called nitya karma. These are basic activities. If you say, I'm not going to do anything, then you cannot even maintain the body. Correct? So inaction is never a path. Inaction is not the way. Then Manoj had spoken to us about again, emphasizing this difference between action and inaction. One of the things he says is that, so for most of us, all actions can be divided into four categories. So in our spiritual tradition, we say, what is the purpose of life? The purpose of life is fourfold: dharma, artha, kama, moksha. Dharma means working towards one's liberation. Second is artha. Artha means wealth acquisition is artha. Material acquisitions, looking after our material affairs, a job, having a career, buying things for your house, fixing things for your house. This is artha. Kama is pleasure based activities, some recreation. This is third. And moksha is sorry. So dharma is that which will take you towards liberation, but dharma is the guiding uh, force. It's like the universal force which informs all other activities. It's an organizing principle behind everything. Okay. And moksha are the activities, our sadhana, etc., which take us towards liberation. So he told us how you will, categorize. So dharma is an organizing principle, and how you can categorize your activities to make sure that you have balance between artha, kama, moksha. Okay. So that is another way to see how uh, your actions are balanced, your karma is balanced. Slowly it will take you towards karma yoga. What creates karma bandhan? What increases our bondage in life and keeps us away from liberation is this instant gratification. That is why Sadhguru gives that sadhana. Wait for 5 seconds, wait for 1 minute, wait for 2 minutes before you engage in an activity that is pleasurable for you. Because the moment pleasure happens, dopamine releases. See, this is happening with all our children, no? The younger generation, they are so much into instant gratification. And the thing is that because they have been exposed in these ways, and with social media, everything is instant coffee, everything should happen now. Oh, this is too long a process, I'm not going to do. This will take too much time. Because the moment gratification happens, that chemical reaction of dopamine begins to happen in the body. But uh, instant gratification is what will thicken the bondage in life. So learn to wait. Then the third thing is niyatam karma. What do I need to do at this moment now? I have addressed that already. So that is okay. Okay, this is Karma Nashna, and this is from Sadhguru's book. I thought it was interesting and relevant. Karma Nashna and Karma Vriddhi. What increases your bondage and what will reduce your bondage? Now, see, there are four kinds of karma that we need to understand. And he also, I liked how he has connected it to the mind, because we have studied this in Yoga Sutra, so it becomes very easy to understand. There is something called Sanchita Karma. Sanchita Karma means the warehouse of karma. All the karma that you have accumulated for many lifetimes, all of that karma put together is called Sanchita Karma, which means this is, if in its correspondence, it corresponds to the unconscious mind. Everything is sitting in the unconscious mind. Okay. Then there is prarabdha karma. Prarabdha karma means it is a portion of sanchita karma which will be active in this lifetime. It is sure to happen. It will give you results in this lifetime. It can be a pleasurable result, it can be an unpleasant result. What it is, we don't know, but this is surely going to be exhausted in this lifetime. It is a portion of your Sanchita karma. We don't know from which lifetime it is coming. That is why we say in yoga, don't label yourself, don't blame yourself if suddenly you have selfish thoughts rising, greed rising, jealousy rising, gluttony rising. You don't know, maybe some past lifetime I was a pig and I was a glutton. And suddenly that karma from prarabdha karma, it is happening and I'm feeling very gluttonous. It is okay. Just watch it. Just be in awareness of it. And this is how you dissolve it. Okay. So how will you dissolve it? Now, if you start fighting with this karma, oh, how can I be so gluttonous? How can I be like this? Now you start judging. Now you start getting entangled with how I am. I should not be like this. This is how I should be. You start judging. Now this karma becomes thick and it goes back and adds into your Sanchita warehouse. You are not exhausting. You are past. It's like you've added, like we do those sums, no? 1 plus 10 is 11. One went and added on to the tens. Like that, it will add on. But instead, if you just observe, okay, gluttony is happening inside me, this is rising. You observe those sensations and then you consciously choose. Am I going to eat? Am I not going to eat? It's my choice. I want to eat. I will eat. It's my choice. I don't want to eat. I don't want to eat. Even if you continue to eat, but you choose consciously and you have observed those sensations, it will bring freedom to you. It will not go back into your Sanchita warehouse. So, how you respond in the present moment to a past imprint will bring you freedom. This is prarabdha. Okay. So sometimes, when we go through, like, I met somebody who recently said, I don't believe in all this karma theory. I see all these people, some of them have done such horrible things and everything nice is happening to them. How do I explain? It's the karma is it is a complex theory. It is coming from several lifetimes. Yes, you will see all these things. You cannot make sense of it because 1 plus 1 doesn't add to 2 in this. And the thing is, our perception is only so much. We don't know what has happened in past lifetimes. That is why it is not nice to judge other people also. First, don't judge yourself because you don't know from which lifetime what has popped up and created a certain reaction. Similarly, to judge other people and say, oh, they are so lazy, oh, they can't even do so much. You don't know what their background is. You don't know. Maybe they were in some misery. Maybe they went through tragedies. Maybe they went through whatever they went through because of which they are like this now. So we are told, don't judge yourself, don't judge others. Simply see that something is rising. Just see that, this is how it is. This exists. Like that story of that the Zen story, uh, uh, where people start blaming that Zen monk. Oh, this is your child, and then he starts raising him. Then they say, oh, this is not your child. That lady comes and says, I was just trying to create problems for you. So he says, oh, is this so? And he gives. So just looking at the situation for what it is, it exists. It doesn't exist. That's all. Within yourself, observing sensations, being aware, and then consciously choosing. Like Manoj would tell us, even if you want to uh, do something which is not in your highest interest because you feel like it, first you take a few moments and observe that this sensation and this desire is rising inside me. After that, it's your choice. You want to do it consciously. Even if you're doing that, do it consciously. But do everything consciously. Don't work on autopilot. Don't work on habits because that is going to keep increasing your sanchita. We want to break this warehouse of sanchita. It's like, and this is what, you know, if this is what Kriya practices do. Kriya practices go and they target into your Sanchita directly. So there are people who ask Sadhguru, what is the difference between Shambhavi and Shunya? And Sadhguru, I'm doing this practice, nothing is happening. He says, you think nothing is happening, but it is happening. You may not be able to feel it, but inside all of that is crumbling, and I have only left a facade. So when it is time, all I have to do is just poke it and everything is over. So all that Sanchita is getting exhausted. And this, see, if you understand how does initiation work, how does a guru initiate you? Sadhguru says, if you have listened to him, he says, I will plant a seed in a place where even you cannot interfere and touch it. Because with your mind, if you start interfering and touching, you will destroy it. So I am touching you in places where even you cannot reach. And it is the deepest portions of your unconscious, it is your unconscious space. And remember, we spoke of asampragnata samadhi. We spoke of sampragnata samadhi in Yoga Sutra, which happens on your conscious mind. And then Osho says, oh, this samadhi is just a namesake samadhi because it's on a conscious mind, which is only 10%. The real samadhi is the asampragnata samadhi. People like Buddha, people like Jiddu Krishnamurti were born in states of asampragnata samadhi. Within asampragnata samadhi, there are different states, right? We spoke of Savitark, Nirvichar Samadhi, Savichar Samadhi, Nirbija Samadhi, Sabija Samadhi. There are different levels to that also. And all those samadhis are happening in the unconscious. It may reflect sometimes in conscious states. It is possible that it doesn't reflect. That is why Sadhguru says, no, Kriya is really for the person who can have that level of trust with the Guru. If I tell you to stand upside down, you will stand upside down. That is how it is, because it is based on that trust. Because sometimes you will not see it. It is happening. Sometimes people say things are getting worse because a lot of rubbish is coming out. It will happen. I had spoken about this to some of the volunteers when I was initiated, and she said, this happens, Swati. Sometimes the rubbish is getting released and it has to get released. And like Osho said, no, that in the path of awareness, earlier everything was dark. So you thought everything is beautiful, there is no problem for me. Now, when you bring a little bit of light, you see cobwebs here, rubbish there, everything upside down there. And then it starts disturbing you, saying, so much nonsense exists inside me because a little bit of light came. So then all of that will sort of get released through your pores, so it's difficult, but this is how it works. This is the science behind kriya. So then there is kriyaman karma. Kriyaman karma is the action that you are taking right now. This should be conscious. This is what he's saying. Your response to a stimulus that is happening right now. If you do this consciously, then your Kriyaman karma will not create more Sanchita karma. Kriyaman karma is the action that is being taken right now. And Agami karma is the actionable karma, is the portion uh, which is in future, which will bear its result in future. Um, Yeah. So this is how Sadhguru has classified the karma. Normally, in most texts, when I read, they have not spoken about this karma called agami karma. But they only speak of prarabdha, sanchita, and kriyaman karma. But Sadhguru speaks, it's the actionable karma, he says, which is going to happen in the future. Now, all right. So, so it's all about breaking identity. It's all about thinning the glue. If you can thin this glue, and at least put it in the right play, more glue towards buddhi, less glue towards manas, likes and dislike, aversions and cravings, less glue towards that, more towards buddhi. Now, see, your identity itself is not a problem. As long as we are in the world, all of us will have identity. No, we have to have. I have an identity, okay, of a yoga teacher, of an employee in this organization. We all have we need this. Otherwise, how do you function? Like Sadhguru also, he will a visionary, a mystic. They will do that. Otherwise, how do you function in the world? How do you relate with people? How do you contribute to the world? Even if I have to contribute to the world, I need an identity, but don't get identified with those roles. So, one very nice thing Paramhans Yogananda has mentioned in his commentary, he says, see, if you want to, you become the president of a company. Now, this could have been a result of your own ambitions, aggrandize my wealth, my status. This is why I want to be the president of a company. Whereas there are people who would like to be the president of a company or whatever because it gives them the capacity to contribute and make certain changes in the organization that can benefit more people, isn't it? There are people like this. There are many people like this, even in the political system. There are people like this who will go through that, who will take on positions in the cabinet because they truly want to make a change. And it can happen only if they come into that position of power. So, Sadhguru, he speaks of it. He says, I play golf, I write books, I ride a bike, but I'm not a golfer, an author, or a motorcyclist. That is not my identity. These are just certain activities that I do. So this is a way to look at our roles. Don't get so identified with it. Just see them as roles which allow us either uh, a capacity for karma, just simple pleasure. That is also necessary in life. Nobody's telling you not to enjoy. It's very important to enjoy life. So, if I'm a hiker, no, I just enjoy the activity of hiking. So I like connecting with nature. So, but don't get identified with it. Just the activity or other roles that we play, in organizations or our vocation, then those roles become portals for us to serve the community. Treat that as a portal to serve the community. So, so the way an enlightened being is that he stays untouched by the action that he performs. The action that he performs does not define who he is. So I had shared that post on Ram today, on Ram Navami, and if I have to define myself or introduced myself or tell who I am, the only way for me to tell me is that to tell or introduce or explain about who Swati is okay, speak about where I was born, I'm an Indian, I look like this, I'm married, I have twins, etc., etc. I work here, I studied this, I teach yoga, blah, blah. So this is the way I am able to tell someone else about who I am. If you, for an enlightened being, who he is not defined by the action that he performs. He is not a sum total of his actions. Who he is defines his action. Do you understand this? Who he is defines his action. Like Ram, who he is defines his action. His action of banishing Sita does not define who he is. It does not define. You cannot call him a man who did not care about his wife. He is the man who, in those times when there was no way of traveling, I mean, there were no airplanes, okay? He crossed an ocean for her to rescue her. This man was a king. He was a prince. There was no dearth of beautiful women for him. He could have married anybody. He could have said, oh, now she's gone, she's kidnapped. 2 years he spent to go and rescue this woman. So when people come and say that, oh, he abandoned his wife, he didn't care about his wife, really? This man did everything. This is the kind of man you want to be married to, his action. This is how an enlightened being is. Anu, does this make sense? Anu had asked me this question. So what happens to, these gods and these people who take on bodies? Don't they incur karma? They don't incur karma. You know why? Because they are enlightened. They are like lotuses. They have transformed their mind. Our minds are such that the glue is very strong. It is stuck to manas. Their minds have been transformed. They are like lotuses. They do action and actions don't touch them. The glue does not touch them. Yet they live, they continue to have bodies. Yes, they continue to have bodies. For example, and I'm digressing, but this is important to explain this point. For example, look at Buddha's life. Okay, now Buddha got enlightened, but even after his enlightenment, he lived for 40 years, right? He had a body. He continued to perform the nitya karma of whatever bathing, eating, sleeping. Those were performed, and he performed many other karma which benefited the society. But his actions did not have did not create more sanchita for him. Do you understand? None of his karma created sanchita for him. It had all exhausted. He had exhausted all his sanchita the moment he came into enlightenment. He had exhausted his sanchita when he had come into enlightenment, but obviously there is a portion of that sanchita which is allotted towards kriyaman karma. Kriyaman karma means also includes a portion of nitya karma, daily activities, and other activities that you may do as long as you have the body. But it does not create repercussions and go and deposit in sanchita karma. That account is just for this lifetime and it'll get over. So Osho explains it. It's like you are riding a bicycle at high speed. Okay, it has gathered momentum. Now, even if you don't pedal, it will continue to move till it finally comes to a standstill. So, the moment of enlightenment is like that for people like Buddha. They have come into this moment of enlightenment. Now they are not pedaling anymore. It is just working from, so they continue to have this body and then the body will get exhausted at some point. Does that make sense? And they don't accumulate karma because they have become the lotuses. That is why lotus is that symbol in spiritual literature. I'm sitting on 3.8. So shloka, I had planned to do 16. And what time is it? 9:35. Okay. Why does karma exist? We spoke. I wanted to touch on this. Why does karma exist? How many of you know why do you have karma? You have karma because you have kleshas. And we studied this in Yoga Sutras. You have karma because you have kleshas. What are the five kleshas? Avidya, ignorance, asmita, ego, raga, I like something, dvesha, I dislike this, abhinivesha, fear of death. Because of these kleshas, you will have karma. So one of the things, because we're speaking of klesha, there's something called a klesha nashana kriya, which is offered at Isha. So it's like a little relief that you can get. It's not something that, oh, I'll do klesha nashana kriya and all my karma is exhausted. It's not like that, but it can give you relief from karma or klesha, which is too thick, which sometimes with your own effort is not working. So it's an in-person process. And if you ever have a chance, you can book it in advance and do it. I have heard that there are children who had ADHD who went through this Klesha Nashna Kriya, and Sadhguru says, I myself was surprised that some of them really benefited from it. Like, that it was very beneficial for these children. So, sometimes when people don't want to do anything by themselves, I don't want to do any sadhana, I don't want to do anything, at least your family members and whoever you can manage, just go and put them. At least I feel like doing this with my children. Come once with me, I'll go put you under some klesha nashna kriya. It's like a little shower of grace. It cleans you up. It cleans up your energy field. So if you have an opportunity, I would. I just wanted to speak about that. All right. Therefore, you should perform actions according to your true nature. That is to say, according to scriptures, action is better than. So, uh, so according to scriptures means according to dharma. Make your action in such a way that uh, it benefits the first. Work according to your true nature. That is dharma. Everybody understands that. That is one aspect of dharma. When you are true to your nature, you should, like a tree gives shade. This is its dharma. A human being's dharma, compassion, is a human being. That is why you're a human being. Intellect is also human being's dharma. No other species has intellect. This is very unique. This is a very powerful. So that is why they say ignorance is also karma, and use of intellect is karma yoga, because now you are actualizing that which is a human capacity. So when you are actualizing human capacity, you are working according to dharma, and that which involves the greater good of people. More number of people will benefit from your action. Is a dharmic action. Now, uh, I spoke about this sakam karma, and we said it's all right if you want to do an action which brings you benefit, it's all right, but don't just keep doing actions that will bring you benefit and then, towards aggrandizement and status and all of that. Once, your life becomes a little bit smooth because you have done sakam karma, you have accumulated punya, then devote that time towards your spiritual growth. That this is what Gita is about. Gita is not about, you know, just it is not just about mundane stuff. You can apply it to mundane stuff, but the real purpose of Gita is you should become vyakul about your liberation. There should be some fire inside you that liberation must happen to me in this lifetime. Otherwise, you must understand, and at least you must understand that I have wasted my life if liberation does not happen to me, or I have not done the work towards my liberation, because that is also the purpose of human life. You must come into your liberation. So you must do everything in your capacity to work towards that direction. Karma without, I think all this is covered. All right, let's go on to the next slide. Oh, we're still on 3.8. Therefore, you should perform actions. Okay, so inaction. Now, inaction is a way of deceiving yourself. Okay, actions performed unconsciously will lead us astray. Okay, I think this is also most of it I have covered. Uh, so, see, the important point that is being said here is that you must perform action to your true nature. The whole idea is Krishna is telling Arjun, Arjun, what is your true nature? To be a warrior. This is his true nature. He is a kshatriya, and he has been a kshatriya in many lifetimes. Very quickly, and I think, correct me if I'm wrong, cut me out if I have already spoken of it, just to save time. Uh, I spoke about the varnas, the four varnas, Brahmin, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, and how in Krishna's time this varna vyavastha, Osho says, ये वर्ण की व्यवस्था थी. It was an organization. The way the varnas were organized was that if you were born, uh, that even after your death, the soul would pass through the same varna. It was like it was channelized in such a way that you would keep going through the same channels. In our time, this varna organization has gotten mixed up. That is why people married within their caste. That was the reason behind it. So that the same kind of karma was thick, and you would move into the same varna and you would come into enlightenment through that varna, not by mixing up. Today, we have all gotten mixed up that one organization does not exist. But our society, our culture was so advanced that even for a soul, they could do this, that which is so intangible. So he is telling Arjun, this is your true nature, and you must perform your action according to your true nature. Arjun wants to run away, right? So inaction is not a choice. And uh, And one point for all of us to learn is that we may have several potentialities. Life is multidimensional. We may be good at several things, but in action, you have to be one dimensional. You can't do everything. Otherwise, that which you are meant for also you will not be able to do properly. So, very important to recognize our potential, recognize uh, uh, what our true nature is so that we can actualize it. You may have different potentialities, but everything cannot fructify because we will not have the time. Life is limited. So, oh, Arjun, you should not renounce actions in fear of bondage. He's doing that because a man is bound by his actions unless he performs yagna karma. Uh, so, all actions should become a yagna for you. When you perform actions without any attachment, those actions are performed in good manner and are initiated by the divine. So here, Krishna is telling Arjun that whatever action you do, and this is an important thing for all of us to remember and to learn and to apply in our life, your action should be a yagna. So the just for everyone to understand, you imagine the whole world, the whole earth, all beings living, animals, plants, human beings, everybody is interconnected, correct? Everybody is interconnected. There is food chain, so there is an ecosystem. So it gives you some sense of interconnections, right? Between everything. It's like what we exhale, the trees inhale. What the trees exhale, we inhale, correct? There is interconnection between everything. Now, you have been given this body, and what is the, so if say this is the interconnection, say this is the octopus of interconnection, then there is a dharma which is ruling this. This dharma is the divine, which is sort of uh, telling each aspect of this creation what it should be doing or what is its purpose. Like the tree is giving shade, all of that is happening. The river is flowing. This is its dharma. Its dharma is to flow. Now, as human beings, we should consider that we are the fingertips of the divine. Now, this finger is different from this finger, is different from this finger, is different from this thumb. So you have only this much opening. This is Swati. This is an opening. Through through this principle that holds, the divine is flowing through Swati. The divine is flowing through Nidhi. The divine is flowing through Puja. Okay, and whatever is happening through Swati, Nidhi, and Puja is is in service of the divine, is by the choice of divine, and is meant to serve this entire ecosystem. Do you understand that? Do you understand what I'm saying? We are here to serve the ecosystem with everything that we are connected with. So, whatever action you do is like, so there is a, so imagine that as you've all seen Havan, there's a Havan that is happening in which so many of us participate and we offer wheat, we offer ghee. What is your offering into this Havan? Maybe Pooja's offering is ghee, maybe Nidhi's offering is wheat, and by that I mean her unique action. Her action, which is guided by her true nature, is her offering into this yagna, because now this yagna will benefit the entire ecosystem. So, whatever action you do, you remember you are impacting everybody. That is why they say, no, Pura mat bolo. Mat bolo, because you are offering this now into the yagna. You are offering kankar patthar into the yagna. This is what will go out to others also. And then it will come back to you because it's an ecosystem. That is why they say what goes around comes around. In yagna karma, Krishna has clarified this, that all of this, it will come back. So that's why they say that if a certain number of people start meditating, Sadhguru created that Miracle of the Mind app. They're trying to get a certain number, 3 billion people, I think he said. I don't remember. Okay, he said if we can get 3 billion people to meditate, then this, the yagna will become so strong because of the presence and participation of that 3 billion people. The rest of the humanity will benefit. Even if they don't do anything, they will benefit because the others are doing. See, Sri Ravi Shankar has explained. He says that when you do your sadhana, everybody in your clan benefits. Even your ancestors benefit. A merit of your, a percentage of the merit of your practice passes on to your ancestors, to the deceased, to your genetic pool, to your ancestors. So this is how we are all connected. So remember, anytime you are acting, which means with my hands, with my feet, with my speech, I am offering something into this yajna. Start seeing that. What do you want to offer? Because whatever you offer is going to impact other people also. So that's uh, so actions in themselves do not create bondage, but the moment you say it is my action, there is bondage, which is what Arjun is saying now. Because of me, these people will kill. And Krishna is telling him, no, you just act. You just act. And you do this as an offering for me. I am the one who is doing this. It is whether you, that is why Krishna tells him, no, Arjun, you're so egotistic. He doesn't say that in so many words, but you think all this war is happening because of you, they will die because of you, you run away, somebody else will kill them. You're just getting this opportunity because you are so fit for this job, you're so fit for this role. You are truly a kshatriya, and you have come into this through so many births, and this is an opportunity you've got. You will lose it. That is what. So Krishna has given him an opportunity to blossom into his fullest by participating in that war. So remember, whatever action we are doing is simply a participation that we are doing in a yagna that God already started. Don't think this is my action. Think that the yagna has already started. Oh, now it's my turn. Imagine, just imagine, this is to help everybody really. And I began to actually think and work like this at some moments. You imagine, so all 10 of us here, okay? Now you imagine that God has all, when we were born, there was a yagna God started. There was a yagna Krishna started. Now I have been called to act. Whatever at this moment, if I act consciously, I have offered into yagna. After me, it is Manisha's turn. Then it's Vinay's turn. Then it's Gayatri's turn. So we are all getting turns and a chance to participate in a yagna created by God. How wonderful! How wonderful. So, whether you are an employee at a bank, if you are in customer service, My job here is not just to earn money, be done with the job and get away. It's a privilege. A role as a wife, as a mother, it's a privilege. It's my privilege to be a mother. It's my privilege to be a wife. It's my privilege to be this employee. It's my privilege to be sharing this yoga with you. It's my privilege to share Bhagavad Gita with you. And this is an opportunity for participation in the yagna that Krishna has already started. If you don't do it, somebody else will do it because it has to happen. This is destined. Does that make sense? Can you change the lens in how you look at life, because it can really make a difference? It made a difference to me when I started thinking, oh, it's my turn. It's like a passing the parcel, which is happening in a yagna, in a havan that is happening, and it will continue till the day we die. And it is happening to all of us. So whenever your turn comes, be ready, be conscious, and remember that right now it's your turn to say swaha. And when we say namaha, Manoj said, when we say namaha, it means not mine. When we say swaha, it means I offer all to you. So whatever you do, it's a swaha. So if I am in customer service and I have to deal with clients, then how can I speak and work in a way that will bring a little bit of relief to this person who is struggling? What can I do? Can I go a little bit beyond my job also? Don't be so bound by duty. My job is not here to just fit into that role. Sometimes I need to do something which will genuinely bring relief. So there is that aspect, but keep the spiritual uh, angle, keep your yagna action very strong. So, so karma, I think this has been explained. It is how you do a particular action or with what intention you do an action which changes a karma into bondage or liberation. So Swami Mukundananda says, here's a knife. Uh, a robber can use this knife in a certain way to poke into your flesh and to get what he needs. And a surgeon can also use a knife in a certain way. He will also poke into your flesh. But but the surgeon's karma will take him towards liberation. The robber's karma is taking him towards bondage because it is in the intention in how it is performed. It is not the action which is binding, it is how and with what intention you are doing. Never worry about what your actions look on the outside. Other people may think, अरे क्या कर रही है, अरे ऐसे नहीं करना चाहिए. Don't worry. You be clear in your intention. With what intention are you performing? And if that intention is an intention that is worth offering into a havan that Krishna started, don't be afraid. Go ahead and do it. Because this is the kind of action that should go into that havan. This is the key that should go into that havan, not some hypocritical action. So there is a very beautiful story. Can I take 5 more minutes? And then I'll stop. We'll continue later. बहुत लंबा हो जाएगा. There's a very beautiful story of Nanak, how Nanak came into his enlightenment. So Nanak used to work in a granary, in the government granary, and his job was to weigh the grains and, uh, keep accordingly give it to people, distribute it among people. So one day he was weighing the grains and he was distributing it to people, and he was doing ek do teen char panch chhe, and he came to tera. And the moment he came to tera, he kept saying tera tera tera, and he kept pouring it into the sack of this one person. And then people were like, Nanak, have you gone mad? What are you doing? You've lost all your calculation. So he said, no, I have not gone mad. I have just come to my senses. So that day he lost his job in the granary, but he got the biggest job, the job of the divine. Because he says, in that moment, I realized nothing is mine. Everything is his. Sab tera. This is called swaha. Sab tera. ये कर्म भी तेरा, ये हाथ भी तेरे, ये स्पीच भी तेरी, ये आईज भी तेरा, ये जबान भी तेरी. Everything is yours, Krishna. Whichever way you want to use me. Then you become an instrument. And then don't be afraid. It's if he wants this done to you, do it as his seva. That I am just an extension of his organizing principle. And this is what he wants me to do when but don't think, see, the very a foolish way to look at it is saying, भगवान मुझसे करा रहे हैं, मैं कुछ भी action कर लूं. No, then you are not doing karma yoga because your intellect is sleeping. And then you are not following the dharma of a human being. The dharma of a human being is to be buddhi yukta. So don't just say Bhagwan jo kara rahe. Nahi, did you apply your buddhi and then choose that I will consciously perform this action? Then it is karma yoga. Then you are really doing what Krishna is asking you to do. Okay. So I am not, you are. And that was Nanak's story. Uh, in the very beginning, Brahma created man through a sacrificial act and said, through a sacrificial act, you shall evolve. And through that sacrificial act, you will bestow to others all that is desirable. Does God ever say, I created? There is no I in God's creation. There is simply a creation. Okay. Brahma does not go there and say, I am the creator. He does not, God does not identify with I. He is only known by his creation. Okay. So, and it cannot be called a sacrificial act if the I exists with that act, because then it's an act of ego. I सब तेरा, ये action तेरी, ये हाथ तेरे, जो बोला वो भी तेरा. Okay. So, uh, so one very important thing here. So you can see the creation, but not the creator. The actor is invisible, but the action is seen. This is how we should become. Now, I know we live in this world. We have to have our brag sheets. We have to have our biodatas, and we have to say all that. Do it. It is necessary. It's part of a facade. It's part of the conscious layer of the mind. In I have to function in this world. If see, look at it like this, and I applied this in my life. I have to do seva for Krishna. And for that, I have to be effective in this world. Now, if you have to be effective in this world, you have to use your buddhi, how to become effective. If I don't have a brag sheet, if I do not have a biodata that is shining a little bit of glitter here and there, nobody is going to use me. How will I be useful to Krishna? I will become useless for Krishna. I am here to do his seva, so I should make myself so effective that I can use every aspect of my being to do his seva. This is how you this is how you can make peace with all that things that you say or you brag about, and this is being done, this is only a facade, so that people see me in a certain way. It's like जो dancers जाते हैं ना, वो facade create करते हैं, but the dancer is sitting inside that mukhota, those Odissi dancers you see, or they have painted themselves in a certain way. They know who they are, but they want people to think of them in a certain way so that they will use them in a certain way, and they can become what Sadhguru calls undercover yogis. We should all become undercover yogis. On the outside, you have to keep a facade. Otherwise, how will people make use of you? If you go and start talking all this yagna karma, spiritual literature, all this, maybe people will not even hire you. You cannot talk all this. It's all Remember, there are two dimensions on which we all live. There's an outer dimension and there's an inner dimension. Outer dimension has its demands. Otherwise, you cannot be effective in the world. You want to be effective because you want Krishna's work to happen. We want more people to meditate. So we have to be effective. There are people have to advertise. Oh, Isha Yoga does it. Sadhguru does it. Sri Ravi Shankar does this. He will say I'm a mistake. He will make certain statements also. It is necessary, because if you don't do this, how will you be effective? So you have to, but it is not, but when you make these brags, whatever, those statements or whatever, you don't have to get identified and start feeling full of yourself. You are not doing this because you are full of yourself. You are doing this very consciously, because if this is not done, I will, Krishna will not be able to use me. You do this because you want to be useful to him. Okay. So, and then once you are engaging in this yagna, we are all, remember, every day morning I have woken up and I'm engaging in this yagna that Krishna started. And I am going to participate in this yagna till the last day of my life. Uh, So whatever, sometimes from the yagna, prasad also comes from yagna, isn't it? Now, whatever prasad comes, you must accept it. That is also part of the yagna. You go to a temple, one day you get a rotten banana. Will you throw it? No, because it has come as a prasad. We still eat that rotten banana, isn't it? Because it is prasad. So whatever comes into your life, remember, it is also coming as a result of yagna, because so many people are participating in this yagna. And we want everyone to pour ghee and wheat and pure elements into this. But whatever comes, you accept it as prasad. This is surrender. Surrender means I will accept whatever is coming as a result of this yagna as prasad. I think I have to stop. I'm only at 3:10. I thought I would complete up to 16 today. Sorry. But that is how it is. All right. Very quickly, if anybody has any questions or any comments or thoughts. So from tomorrow, yagna, okay? Yagna starts from tomorrow. It starts. It has to be a throbbing thing in your life. It has become for me, at least in my workplace, it has become for me like that. I am seeing my, at least my workplace. I will admit at home it's very hard. Very hard. I think karma dimag kharab hai thoda. It doesn't work at home. But office tak mein, maybe because there's a little bit of distance there, you know. At home, there's too much attachment with people. So it's harder. Certain things are harder at home. But at workplace, some of this is happening and it is easier because thoda distance hai in relationships. So everybody is into a yagna from tomorrow. You are just doing swaha with everything. Internally you do swaha, externally you do what you have to do. Okay, don't worry, don't be afraid. Once you are doing this because I want to be useful to Krishna, he will take care. He will guide you, he will smoothen out. You will see things at workplace also will start easing out for you. You will find yourself in situations which will place you favorably. But you tell yourself, okay, Krishna, now what? What do you want me to do? What do you want me for your first? I am telling you, it will happen. You will, it is amazing. It is just, you know, it starts feeling like life is magical. Some magic is happening here. But you keep asking him, okay, now yagna swaha karna hai, haath kaise rakhna hai, how do I move, what do I say? And you just tell him, this is what I have to do, please tell me. And it will come. But decide that from today, I am only doing this. I have to be useful for it. And don't, you know, there are many people I have got people, oh, she used me. Have you heard this from people? Oh, I have been used. So what's wrong? Isn't it good? Isn't it good that you've been used in your life? So there's another thing. It's not about exploitation. Even if somebody is using you and you know that they're exploiting you, if you have it in your mind that I want to be useful to Krishna, you go ahead and keep doing that. But remember and do not give up your buddhi and intellect, which tells you the kind of person this is. So you manage your relationships. Nobody is telling you to discard your buddhi. You can, I know, I have friends, people in my family who are excessively generous and so much that you know they can easily get exploited. So in fact at one point, you know, when my son was younger, I would see him, you know, he was too much of a yes. Anybody asks him anything, I said, it's okay, I never want you to stop doing this. Go help, do whatever you can, but don't lose this understanding and be very clear of people. If they want to use you, if you want to do it, you do it for them. If it's in your power and in your capacity to help, go do it, do that seva. But you be have that awareness that this is being done only because I'm useful to them. They don't really care about me. You know, there is no emotional engagement. This discernment is very important. Intellect is the capacity in us which discerns, which knows what is what, which slices and dices and looks at all the layers. So don't give that up and don't be afraid of being used, but not without buddhi. You can still do what you want to do. That is up to you. Sorry. Over to you. Nothing. No thoughts. No reflections. No. Okay. Then we'll close. And we are all into a yagna from tomorrow. 18 chapters of Bhagavad Gita. It will take us 4 years. Every day has to be a yagna. Every day, wake up in the morning. Today, because the yagna is on, the havan is on. It is on till the day you breathe your last. You know, this fire which is in the belly is the place, is the havan kund. Your pelvis is seen as the havan kund. And that Manipurka chakra, that place of navel, which is about drive, about action, about fire, about doing things, is that place into which we pour everything. So our actions are coming out of that. So remember, the Havan is on. It is not visible. It is not like the havan that we see, but it's on. What are you pouring into this? And make sure you are guided by him, just like the priest guides us. No, ab aise dale, aise haath pakde, ab now you pour this into that. Like that, you ask Krishna, now what? How do you want me to move? He'll guide you. Okay. And I would love to hear your experiences on this once you start putting this into practice, because really things happen. Things happen. If you give yourself totally to this idea and implement it, please share on the group chat. Okay, so we'll take a closing mantra. Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Shri Krishna Arpanamastu. Namaste. Thank you very much. Good night.
Thank you.
10, 10. Thank you. Bye
Thank
bye.
you.
Namaste.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Swati.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Swati.
Thank you.
Very quickly, a thought came to my mind when you
Yes,
said
Nidhi.
sometimes when we are doing yoga, I remember traditionally the pandits and all, they will say, Swaha what you don't want or something which you want to let go. But right now, what we talked about is giving yourself, what
Yeah,
you
it's
offered.
offering. That's what Manoj had told me. Manoj had mentioned to us. Namaha means is not mine, and Swaha means offering to you.
Please accept.
Please accept something. That is how he had explained. I can check on that.
Idam
Sure,
होता है
yeah.
ना, idam like they say, ये मैं नहीं हूँ. I am not this. I am
Idam.
not this.
Hmm.
So like when we do it so hard, that means
Swaha,
I am
yeah,
not anything of this. I am
right.
like, this is not me. होता है ना ऐसा कुछ? Like,
So that's what I was confused because
yeah.
this came to my mind when you said, because sometimes, they would say, Panditjis say, let go of your
Mm.
ahankar, let go of your abhiman, you
Yeah.
swaha those things which you don't want into the
Okay.
yajna.
Let me just check. Swaha means to you. Correct. You're right. So it's the same thing, na Nidhi. Swaha ka matlab is to you.
Yeah.
So whatever, if my action, to you, swaha to you. If you want to give your anger, to you. If I
Hmm.
want to give something good, also to you. So swaha is to you, and
Right.
namaha is, yeah, not mine.
No,
So
no.
I think we are saying the same thing.
Okay.
But I'm not. So offer your bad also, offer your good also. Who's
Hmm.
telling you not to offer your good? Just offering your bad. Offer the good also.
And also, I recently ordered the bundle of Sadhguru's books, Karma, Adi Yogi, Inner Engineering. Is there a certain order that I should pick up from, or I can
No,
pick up any?
anything, whatever intuitively you're drawn to. No,
Okay.
no order there.
Yeah,
Everything is
just
okay.
wanted to confirm on that. But yeah, amazing insight. Like some of the things which said transform habit into choice and compulsion into consciousness, like
Yes.
that's very profound, like something which we
It's
have.
all Sadhguru.
Yeah. I've been actually listening to his mystics, the breeze and doing my, meditation both on miracle also and my Isha Kriya now. Actually, there's a deep craving to do something further. I'll be just the day when you said that you have to have some sadhana into your practice. My mandala should be completed in next 3 days, 90 days of mandala with doing Isha Kriya. So now I'm like more and more drawn to do next, which is inner engineering in person.
Sounds good. Do that.
Yeah.
You know, initiation by a guru is very powerful. And they say you are very fortunate if you have a living guru in your life.
Hmm.
So it's very, very potent. If you have like, it's like वो एक seed देते हैं. It's like, he plants it. So if you feel drawn to him or you feel drawn to Shri, whatever, you go with your intuition. But it is very, very fortunate. It's a
No, and
blessing to have a
I
living
have
guru.
seen some really miraculous things in a way in my thinking and in my meditation happening. Like I had never done this, and I used to think meditation is so difficult. But I was like it's nothing. It's just to sit still. And and initial days of meditation, like thoughts were just coming, and a lot of thoughts were coming, but now it has come down to like two or three thoughts in the beginning, and then the mind becomes so still that even if I want to think something, nothing comes. There's no image, there's no thoughts, in like 5-7 minutes into meditation, and just a lot of stillness. And I can see it in my daily life. I was also listening to Sadhguru's, where he says you become nishab. My talking has cut down a lot, where in fact, my daughter was like, "Mom, you've become mute. What just happened to you?" And I'm like, I myself don't know. I think lots of churning going on inside right now.
Very nice. Nidhi, any miracle you want to share about?
Um, I mean, there's been few, there are like I shared with you personally, but I want to share it with a group. So I was traveling to Mexico and then to New Jersey, and in my mind I'm thinking, oh, I don't want to miss the Gita class. I don't want to miss it. And then Swati immediately posted on the group saying that 2 weeks she's not available. I mean, the joy I had in my heart. I mean, I just can't tell you. I was just in my own head. I was like, how can I make it happen? Like, and it was just something like what I'm thinking without even me saying it, those things are happening just with my thought. So and a lot of other things, like if I want to ask a question to somebody, and I've been contemplating, how do I ask? Okay, I'm going to ask it this way, and the next day that person just comes and answers it for me, and I'm like, wow, like how is that happening? Like it's magic. Like I'm just thinking in my head, and that person already is answering it for me without even asking. So yeah.
That is beautiful. So you are seeing that as you go either into meditation or as you go into, devotion, one of the two things, situations start to rearrange themselves, isn't it? Situations are rearranging themselves. They will happen. And you don't have to worry. So you don't have to fight. You don't have to, you are participating in a yagna that is on. Now, if you participate the way he wants you to participate, which is just simply means total involvement, he will take care of everything else. You don't have to worry. It's really quite amazing. You should give yourself totally to this and you will be amazed. I
And
wish.
another thing which I felt is my hunger, it's not like I'm hungry. Like until I don't do my meditation, sometimes it's been almost like 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock, because I just want to do empty stomach. And I just don't feel anything, that I haven't had any food or something. There's no thought in my mind. The only thought is, until I don't do my meditation, I won't eat. And I'm able to run around doing everything what needs to be done. So yeah, I think those things are really, coming into the system.
Very nice. Very nice. Anybody else? Harishma, you want to share something? Any of your magic moments? Anybody has magic moments to share from their practice? Please share, because that is what helps build Shraddha. When we hear people like from our group share, then you understand that ये तो मेरे जैसे ही लोग हैं, हमारे जैसे लोगों को ही हो रहा है. Otherwise we think, अरे ये तो मीराबाई और तुलसीदास को होता है, हम क्या चीज है, हमारे बस का नहीं है सब. It's not like that. It's not like that. It is people like us, normal, ordinary people like us. This can happen to us. Yes, Harishma.
Hi, Swati. Hi, everybody. Yeah, so yeah, she's absolutely right about, and you are absolutely right about how things just arrange themselves when you do sadhana. So many times, if I'm not able to do sadhana, I do nam jap. I just do like Premananji Maharaj says, you can do nam jap. So I do that throughout the day, and then I had mentioned I went to Kamakhya Devi temple, and if you want to get the Devi's darshan, it's apparently people queue up like early in the morning, and they wait for 8 hours to 10 hours, and they get the darshan in the evening. So the day that we had gone, we were just going to leave the next day in the afternoon by flight. So there was no way I would be able to queue 10 hours with my child in that line. So I was thinking I'll just get the Mukh Darshan. It's okay. I mean, I touched the soil where this temple is and I'm there in this space. I don't think I would be able to do that. I'm just happy enough to be here. So I was telling him, telling my husband, we can't do it. But we just walked around the temple doing the, the rounds. And we just happened to ask this person, is there any other VIP queue or anything? So he was also somebody who comes there every day. He was like, there's no such thing. There is a VIP queue, but even the VIP queue now, everybody is taking the VIP passes. But there is one person, if he wishes, he can sort of assist you. So he knew somebody, and he said, if you want, you'll have to pay a bit. So we'll do it. So then, I have my mind telling me, is this okay or not okay to pay and go while people are sincerely waiting with their children for 10 hours. So then finally, that I don't know if I was greedy or what. I just thought it's okay. I think with my child and my situation, and I've come all the way. I don't know when I'll come back. I'm okay. I'll pay the panda and we'll do it. So the next day, when we came, the panda just took us, and then we went in within 10 minutes. We got the darshan. We came out, and then he was like, just you can give me whatever. So when we were about to take out the money, he said, just 500 rupees. Don't give me anything more than that. And then he just took. We paid him a little bit more. That's thing, but we were just surprised. Like money is not the thing, but it's just how it all happened. I never even thought we'll go into that space where the actual thing is. I was happy to just be there, and even me wanting to go to Kamakya for so long, and then thinking, having many thoughts, go or not go, because taking my child into that space where the bali and all that happens. I had so many rights, wrongs, morals, this thing and all. But my husband just booked the ticket and he said, we're going to Kamakya, and he took me there, and then everything just happened. So it was not like I decided anything. So things were just happening on its own. So I think it's the power of some people do sadhana like Ishapriya and Shambhavi and all this. So for me, when I can't do any of it because of my busy schedule, I just do Nam Jap, and I don't know, I also feel just saying the name of the Lord somehow makes things happen too. And
Correct.
many things have happened like this.
So this is
Yeah.
grace, Monica. This is how grace happens. This is what is called grace. So what Nidhi is saying, what Harishma is saying, I don't know, Monica, if you're still there, but this is how
here.
yeah.
I'm
So this is how you earn grace. These people are telling you how they earn grace. It is just because of their absolute involvement and a dedication and a devotion to whatever it is that they are. So, like Nidhi has been very committed to her mandala. She did her 90-day mandala without break. Harishma, I mean, I know her personally also. So I'm telling you, this woman is a devotee, and
Nothing compared to all of this one.
she is a very committed practitioner. She has done all the programs with Isha. She she's a very committed practitioner. She even did samyama pura with a small child. Okay, her child is only 4 years old, right? 4 saal,
Yeah.
choti si hai wo. With that, she has done it. So when you have two things, Sadhguru says, commitment and love. And love, you call it devotion, dedication. मन से, प्यार से, involvement से जब करो और commitment रखो कि वो अटूट रहना चाहिए. Then it's like it's a law. Grace just happens. It's like a law. you know uh, 1 plus 1 is equal to 2. There is no such thing as it's just a law. It's like that, but it needs those two factors. Okay. Anything else, anybody? Okay, that's nice. All right, kal se yagna shuru, huh? Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Swati.
Thank you. Good night. Good night, everybody. Bye bye. Thank you, Harishma, for sharing. Bye,
Thank you,
Vidya.
Swati.